Hello, 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 hello. Welcome back, League of Legends fans, for round two of NECC competition. We've got your very own CCC Redhawks. They'll be going up against KSU JV, that's Kansas State University. I am your host, D Logics, with my co-host Jackie Pancakes. How you doing this evening?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, our Redhawks came off a very nice victory last week against Eastern Idaho, and they're looking to build on that momentum tonight and see if they can get into the next round. And I think
Yeah,
they
here
can
we
do it.
are in round two already, huh?
Yep.
So everything on the line, best of three series here. Uh, a really strong team who 2-0'd last week. Just looking at the standings there. And so I don't think we've played these guys before, but it is definitely a team that seems to know a little bit about our draft strategies here because looking at the first round of bans and even the second round of bans, they're targeting some of the same stuff we've seen targeted for weeks on end here, even back to the regular season. So Hecarim banned almost every single game against any day. The Jinx being taken away, kind of interesting because that's something that was floating around quite a bit last week and always been a hot pick. The Zyra taken away, definitely something that Sushami has been successful on in the past. And as now we see all these picks coming through, Vagar, probably the most contested pick for the Hawks this entire season. That comes through even on the red side, so it does look like that was a Twitch first pick, and that's into a Vagar Nautilus, so lots of CC to lock down that Twitch. Then on the other side, they come back with a Jarvan, a Thresh, a lot of Engage and CC pick potential on the other side. Then the Kayn gets picked up. Huge fan of Any Day's Kayn. Been a really strong performer in the past few weeks. He tends to go blue and he tends to take over games. And then in the second round, interestingly enough, the Volibear and the Sett get banned away, so they're targeting Zodiac up in the top lane. And they save the pick last for him. Looks like he's going to go into the Mordekaiser, another hotly contested pick. And he picks the Gwen into it. So two AP champions throwing down in the top lane. And then the Nyla, which pairs really well with the Nautilus, but the first time we've seen that this season. And the Akshan on the other side. So really interesting draft here, and we haven't even gotten into the bans by the Hawks yet, but that's definitely something that either they didn't want to play into or that they have seen that the other team has been playing a lot of lately. Either way, really interesting pick ban phase here. Looks like the Hawks got most of what they would typically want. And then the new Nyla pick coming out is going to be pretty exciting to see. And they're going to be playing into a team who we don't really have a lot of information on, but they have drafted a really good front-to-back team comp. It looks like it's going to be really good mixed damage, ability to not only split push, but team fight and everything else. So just really excited for game one here, see how everything goes down. I mean, it's time to buckle in because I think we got quite the banger.
I agree. I'm looking forward to this match. But just like you mentioned, we don't have much information on this KSU team. Um, Only thing we got that is they beat Illinois State last week, 2-0. So,
Yeah, and if you look at the seedings here, I don't know what that specifically how they were able to seed these different teams, but at 14, taking out the number 3 seed in a 2-0 situation, that's pretty impressive. And I really don't know if that is the way it was set up because of their record going in or their strength going in or something, or if they just kind of laid them out because it shows the Hawks here at number 11. Obviously the Hawks just took down what would have been the number 6 team last week. So I'm not going to put too much stock in those numbers. Although when you do look at this round 2, you see first seed right there, second seed, fourth and fifth seed and stuff. It does look like there might be something to that. But that's just our Hawks just overperforming expectations there.
I agree. So, let's see here. All right. So, I think we're going to take a quick break here with this spectator delay. We'll be right back. So, don't go anywhere.
All right.
Good game.
right. Yeah, so starting out here on the red side, and it looks like on the blue side they're all grouped up and maybe looking to do some sort of cheeky invade action here. Sneaking in on this top side as 5. They're going to try to sneak into this bush, and it looks like Zodiac has spotted out. He's going to drop the ward and walk away. So this does mean that they get to walk into the bottom side here and get some vision and get an idea of where Jarvan's going to start. And the Hawks are going to do that right on cue. So, well done. I'm a big fan of the level 1 shenanigans. So I'm going to give it to both teams for trying it on the blue side, but then the Hawks properly punishing that, because now you get 0 information on the blue side of where Kayn is going to be starting. But here, as you can see, they've warded up this entire side of the map, and he couldn't start chickens, he couldn't start here on the red buff, or anything without the Hawks knowing about it. So in this case, obviously Kayn likes to start chickens. Maybe they just assumed he was going to be doing that. I'm calling them the chickens, but they're really the Raptor Camp, the official title for them. And so it looks like Any Day is probably going to be clearing that top side and making his way down to the bottom. And here in the mid lane, it looks like Akshan really wants to push this first wave. But then on the other side, Jarvan, he's got 2 good options here, and I think one of the more popular ones now is to just clear bot side and then just head straight to bot lane or mid lane looking for a gank before heading to the top part of the map. If not, then he'll probably just go for a full clear here. I think it really depends. He can't look at mid right now because Akshan has it pushed all the way to the tower. He can't really look top anytime soon until this wave bounces back. And even in the bot lane, it looks like they're getting the shove. So the Hawks happy to just have everything shoved into him here, making every lane really difficult to gank, and giving Any Day lots of gank options, potentially. That being said, I don't think Kayn's early level ganks are very strong, and so that might be the call here, is just shove them in, protect our laners. But really good trades there in the mid lane. And HMG and Sushami just happy to farm this under tower for now. Meanwhile up top, same kind of deal, I think. Gwen takes a little bit of time to hit her stride. So into that Mordekaiser matchup might be a little bit tricky early on. And he certainly knows that, it's about 3:20 into the game right now. If Jarvan's doing a full clear, which he is, then he'll be there soon. And cool. Hook lands for Sushami, but Thresh misses. And a nice punish there by the Hawks. A little bit of a trade back, but well done. That was a max range hook if I've ever seen one. Nyla, another one of these picks, surprisingly strong, especially when she hits power spikes. At level 6, looking for all-ins, especially for people who aren't ready for it, can be devastating. And Any Day here in the mid lane, Akshan in a little trouble. He screws up his E there. And he's going to drop. Any Day with the flash by Jarvan, and it looks like he's going to walk away. Well done. So they get Jarvan's flash. Akshan holds his, and I'm not sure that was smart, because it did look like they may have struggled, even after he failed the either, they may have struggled to finish off that kill. But I think he believed in the trade there. So great job by the Hawks finding that first blood. And Any Day's got to get these ganks off because he wants to transform. And part of his passive is he's got to hit champions. So anytime you can have a successful gank as Kayn early in the game, you love your life. Meanwhile, Dragon is spawning in about 10 seconds. And we should get an idea here of which dragon it's going to be. Still, we see both junglers heading out onto the map, and would not be surprised to see both of them head to this bottom side. Jackal with a small push advantage in the mid lane. And it looks like things are going to be pretty close here in the bot lane. A little bit of a push for blue. And the idea here is push your lane out, rotate into the river, secure the dragon before the Void Grub spawn. And here the Hawks are pushing back. I don't think they're going to make that easy. And meanwhile, Kayn is looking bot there. Jackal getting ganked in the mid lane, and he's going to drop. So, no return kill. Twitch runs for his life. And he makes it out. Is that going to lead into a dragon here? I don't know. Akshan pretty low. Probably just wants to base now that he's shoving this wave in. And that'd give us a nice 3v3 down here if the Hawks wanted to contest it. But it does look like Jarvan's going to give up on this dragon now and just head up to the Void Grub. He's pinging it right now. And Any Day might be content to let him go there and just trade the dragon afterwards, because bot lane, they've got the push. They're rotating into the river. And now Jackal going to shove this wave too, and I do think that it's just a trade of objectives. The fun part about the patch now is you've got the dragon and the Void Grub spawning desynced by a minute on either side. And since they're being taken at the same time here, they're going to respawn at the same time. So you're actually going to potentially have a fight over one or the other on the next spawn. But this time around, just a trade. And Hextech Drake is a perfectly fine trade for the first 3 Void Grubs. Meanwhile, let's just take a quick peek at items and see where we're at. Get an idea where the gold's at. So, does look like a pretty big DS advantage for the blue side in top and mid lane. Zodiac looking for an all-in here. And really good chunks of damage. And that's his ult coming out, so... Jarvan coming up looking for this. Mordekaiser still has his ult as well. So Zodiac's got to be very careful here. Meanwhile, bot lane looking for the dive. There's the ult on the Thresh. As Twitch just runs away, but can they kill? So Sushami taking up the tower. And does he live? He goes down, so it's 2 for 2 here in the bot lane. I think it's actually worth, though, because now that Any Day shoves this in, Twitch is going to miss out on a whole lot of CS here. And this was already a matchup that was very close. Unfortunately, without any mana, I don't know if Any Day gets away here. Looks like he's going to get dropped by Akshan's ult. And once again, Jackal going to have to trade for a mid lane plate. So what we're seeing is just trade after trade after trade. If it's not objectives, it's kills. If it's not kills, it's tower plates. And as you can see, the gold almost dead even at this point. Now Doxon showing up. Let's see if Jackal can walk out of here. He does have some damage. The flash. And he's going to trade this one back.
Shut down.
So just another trade. I think that's the name of the game right now.
Back and forth. Well, it's been a fairly even game. Gold lead is not too far. About 10 minutes into the game, so.
Yeah, I think that's the mark of a good team on both sides, is the ability to just trade. Because you're going to find, and these Thresh hooks going wide, not ideal for the blue side, but you're going to find that you just can't win every fight, you can't take every objective, but if you can trade something for everything that they take, when you do get something for free, that's where you find your leads. And 500 gold right now is hardly enough to speak about, even at 10 minutes. I think the key at this point is going to be getting the gold on the right people. So in comes Jarvan. HMG in a little bit of trouble, but he's just going to dash away. And Any Day's here just in case they had some other thoughts. And there's the ult! Did they disrespect the level 6? Any Day coming in from the side. HMG does go down. Can they trade one back? Jackal's almost here. Akshan on his tail. Oh, Kane's got him here.
Nice play there by Any Day. Oh, unfortunately, he's taken out.
So I think all in all, not a great trade. And only because even though HMG found an amazing engage there on 3 people, it just took a few seconds longer for the backup to get there than he needed. And they were able to turn, and all 3 people who had gotten CC'd. Oh, and Zodiac find the solo kill here. Looks like he's got him. Nice. And he's been looking for that all-in for the last few minutes here. It looks like he's known that he's had the damage to do it. But yeah, I think in that last play, really good concept. I think the call was good to go for it. And HMG's got to take it when he has the chance. The only problem is, like I was saying, couple seconds behind on the follow-up. And Akshan is very good at roaming. He's a champ that can absolutely get there faster than you from the mid lane. So as Jackal roamed down, he was right on his heels, and that created a huge issue because now Jackal, instead of being able to help kill anybody, he had to turn and fight. And poor Veigar, outside the cage, you're just a very immobile carry, and that's all you are. I've got a little brawl going here. And he does get the stun on Akshan, but here comes the ult. And just really tricky for the Hawks to make these plays. Now they're just going to go all in on this Twitch. Well, they're going to jump out, but they're taking a lot of damage. Can Sushami find his way out? It looks like he was just burning from that Twitch poison damage. So now we see the gold swinging in the blue team's direction. Looks like it's almost 3k here. And at 12 minutes, that is quite a bit. But good scaling on the side of the Hawks. And this laning phase has only got a few more minutes. So it's gonna change from a situation where Jarvan gets the ability to influence these lanes really heavily with all his mobility, and turn into more of a team fight scenario. So it'll be interesting to see how everything shakes out with where the gold's at right now. Meanwhile, 1 dragon apiece. So even in that regard, dragon stacking for either team definitely slowed down. And that's a good catch from Akshan. He's going to swing away, and he flashed. Now any day finding himself in enemy territory. Pop his flash, and he's going to likely get out of there. So well done. Getting the flash out of Akshan is huge. Definitely the scariest player on their team right now is the Akshan and the gold that he's amassed. Meanwhile, it looks like the blue team is getting vision here in the bot side river. And although they have all 6 Void Grubs, it does look like, with Rift Herald spawning in just 10 seconds or so, that the Hawks are going to be looking for that. They're going to be trying to get that first tower goal. And once again, Zodiac looking for the all-in. Does he have the damage? Any day's here as well. They might look for this dive. Jarvan making his way up. They're going to have to do it quickly. Maybe Any Day's sitting and wait for the Jarvan to show up. Looks like he's just taking the camp. Meanwhile, tower plates are gone, so it's alright to let Twitch just kind of beat on that for a moment. Now with the Rift Herald up, you got both junglers throwing down in the river here. Any Day with a health lead, fighting over the fruit. Mord would love to ult the cane here. Oh, just really good job by the Hawks there. Now Zodiac finding himself in the dungeon, but Mord's going to go down as well. And a lot of action in the bot lane here. As HMG falls again. Unfortunate, but Twitch is low. Perhaps Sushami can save this tower. And Akshan bit off a little more than he could chew here. And Anyday's just going to drop all three of them. So at this point, you got to believe that he's going to be transforming. And as Blue Kane with a lot of gold in his pocket, I mean, that was shutdown gold as well. He's going to be an absolute menace going into this mid game. And so here we have mid lane tier 1 is down. Bot lane tier 1 is still standing, but definitely beat up. And you got to expect soon that you're going to have some rotations. Hook goes wide there, but it does look like the Hawks want to keep the bot lane in the bot side to protect that tower. And it's always an awkward spot as a mid laner when your mid tier 1 is down and you're just sitting mid pushing waves hoping that you don't get surrounded. And so yeah, looking for another all-in here. Seems to be a good fight that he wants to take over and over. Jarvan shows up, and it looks like Mord's going to be able to... Oh, unfortunate. So kills all over the map here for the blue team. Anyday does look like he's going to be able to take down Akshan though, so that's nice. A little bit of gold back into the Hawk's pocket here. Bot tier 1 drops. Top tier 1 definitely in trouble of potentially dropping here in this cannon wave. And meanwhile the junglers are going to be fighting over this Rift Herald. And top tier 1 does go down. So huge injection of gold for the blue side. Zodiac's going to teleport in. And I think Mordekaiser's in a lot of trouble here. So well done by the Hawks to punish this Mordekaiser staying just a bit too long. And they gave it over to Anyday, so they're putting a lot of eggs in his basket in this game. Handing over kills to someone who's already fed. Let's take a quick peek at his items here. He has 6 kills now. And he's got 1 completed item, and I bet you he's got money to complete the second one soon enough. And I mean, you can get 2 items by 18 minutes, you're in pretty good shape. Ah, the predictive hook right there. That's a Jackal off guard. And he's going to go down in the mid. So we got 3 people potentially pushing up this mid lane towards the tier 2. Meanwhile, HMG just sitting on this bottom tower. He's going to take it out here. And that's going to be a nice little injection of gold. And the blue side coming down to gank him. Let's see if he can get out. He sniffed it out. He's making a run for it, but does he know just how much trouble he's in? Now, it looks like they're not going to catch him, so good job by HMG to get that and get out. So Infernal Dragon spawns here, and the blue side all over it. The Hawks TPing in, looking to potentially contest here. They've already pulled Jarvan off of the dragon, and he's going in. He's looking for the engage. This looks like a good fight for the Hawks. Jarvan's already down. Mordekaiser not long for this world. Are they going to completely turn this around? That's 3 kills now. A triple.
Good sequence.
Yeah, and that's 3 kills for HMG, and another one for Anyday just for good measure. And they're going to take this second dragon here. So just when you thought that the game might be slipping out of their control, they just wrench it all back with a very impressive play. And I think it all came down to Zodiac TPing in just at the right time, and the blue squad saying, let's turn and fight this, running up into a jungle where they had no vision whatsoever, and just getting completely surrounded as Anyday and Jackal show up from out of the darkness. So really well done. Now Twitch in trouble as well. Good hook by Sushami, and they're just going to take him down. Look at that 900 gold shutdown. How much gold does Anyday need? At this point, he's just rolling in it. It's unbelievable how fed he is.
And with those plays, they've shortened the gold lead to almost about 500k.
I mean, this is an absolute huge turnaround at this point because they don't even need to be ahead. If they can keep the gold close, then they're actually ahead because of scaling. And that doesn't come into play for another few minutes. I mean, at 20 minutes, scaling doesn't really matter. Jarvan's still really strong no matter what build he goes. Akshan spiking huge in the mid game. But on the other side, Jackal's going to scale to infinity. And HMG is going to scale to become just an absolute unkillable menace in these fights. Not to mention the Gwen, and Any Day being the richest man on the map. It does get a little bit disgusting. And it looks like they've got a catch on him here. He has his ult. He might be able to find his way out, but now we see HMG in a 1v1 against Akshan. He just eats his lunch. Now Any Day just beating him up with his wallet. Can he... Oh, Mordekaiser able to take him out. But that was a 1v4. And that's what it took to kill him there, so... Unfortunate, the Thresh hooks, they might have been wide in lane, but they've been nailing people in this mid part of the game. And Zodiac recalling on a ward here. Are they going to try to disrupt it? No, it looks like they just want to push this mid tier 2. And with the Rift Herald, they're going to take it down. So not ideal for the Hawks here. It looks like we're going to get one more charge here. No, not a charge. Luckily for the Hawks, it's just the Rift Herald walking up and getting exploded. Meanwhile, blue team's going to back off here in the mid lane. As they have Mord pushing top, Akshan pushing bot. And at this point, they do have a gold lead, but it's not significant. About 2.5k at this point. Now, I will say this, whenever you have so much gold on one carry, and in this case, the Kayn, then you really don't want the Kayn to get caught before a fight, because then you're just completely sabotaging whatever team fight you might have afterwards. So, really important that they start the fight with Sushami or Zodiac or a Veigar Cage, and they allow Any Day to come in and just clean it up, rather than get engaged on to start it, like in that last example. But Baron is on the map. Both teams trying to control vision in this area. And Zodiac just caught in an awkward spot. He's got his W. Can he protect himself from the Twitch, who needs to run because Any Day's almost there? And the Twitch able to flash away. Mordekaiser not so lucky though. He's going to get dropped here. And can they find Jarvan? Oh, the Hawks want to dive, but I don't think that they can here. Good hook. And Jackal in trouble. So these Thresh hooks have just been actual death sentences. No pun intended. It's actually the ability name for the Hawks here. It looks like the blue side's going to be pushing up on this top lane. Not sure that they can siege this tower. But the dragon is going to be spawning here very shortly. Both teams would love to have this. And there is Sushami's ult. Caught the Twitch. Looks like he's going to drop. Finally, the Twitch goes down. HMG shows up just in the nick of time. Can the Hawks turn this? Great ult by HMG. Akshan trying to get away, but I don't think so. Jarvan next in their sights. HMG finally drops, but can Any Day make it happen? Jackal gets there just seconds too late. He's got 3 guys on him here. Nothing he can do. So the 4v5, which looked a little bit promising there, turns out to go south. And no one was low enough for Jackal to execute. That does mean that that top turret is going to drop. And I do think that you're going to see the blue side run straight at this dragon. It's another Infernal Drake. And I don't think the Hawks care too much about giving this away.
So with 25 minutes, what do the Red Hawks need to do?
Well, I will say that they've already done the job of, there's no dragon stacking going on the other side. This Infernal right here, which does look like is going to go over to the blue side, is not going to make any difference. Both teams at 2. I mean, this game will be over before we see a Dragon Soul, likely, for either side. And really, they just need to get HMG on 3 items and Jackal on 3 items. Let's take a look at where they're at, item-wise. And it does look like HMG's already on 3 items with 8 kills and 200 CS, so I think they've done everything they need to do now. They just need to pick good fights, and there was one right there. Mordekaiser stepping out of line and getting punished. So I do think that even though Anyday has so much gold, his job is not to hard carry these fights. His job is to clean them up and let HMG hard carry these fights. What they really want to do is let the Nautilus hook, the Nautilus ult, set up these picks. Or perhaps a Vagar cage catching out someone like the Twitch or the Akshan, and then just have Zodiac and HMG jump on them and delete them. So the Baron dance has begun here. Both teams dancing around in vision of the other team. I think both teams know that no one is starting it, and at this point, the Hawks are like, well, we're just going to take this top tier 1 because it's up and it's easy. I don't think Blue can do anything about this. The Jarvan hopping in, he wants to dunk Zodiac. Sushami does go down, and HMG runs. So as soon as I said there's nothing they can do, they proved me completely wrong on this. Now it's Anyday and Jackal trying to make some noise here. But the Akshan damage is just too high. Anyday survives. And he's burning down, but he is going to live, so a 1-for-1 trade there. 2 fall up top. And now HMG has got to defend mid and top lane at the same time. So he's going to go top. Anyday is going to probably watch the tower fall here. Yep. And now that we have a little bit of a 3v3,
has been destroyed.
Looks like Blue's going to back off though after they get that inhib. So really good sequence for the blue side. Breaking a base, even if it is mid lane, which isn't necessarily ideal because that's the easiest to catch in case of objectives where you typically have to run from one side to the other. It still means that they have incredible vision and flank angles in the mid lane, where most of the action happens. And it does mean it's so much harder for the Hawks to defend this bottom tier 2, as you can see, because they have to walk through a dark jungle. So Zodiac face checking here. We could be looking at another Baron dance here shortly, because blue side, if they just push waves, they should be able to just walk over and threaten the Baron anytime that they want. They have cleared most of the vision in this bot side jungle. And so it's going to be up to the Hawks to re-establish vision, either in the top side here near Baron, which I think is probably the best place to invest wards at this point. And that's why you see Sushami going over there right now, and just placing a line of wards all the way to Baron. Including the pink and just behind the pit there. And that's going to give the Hawks the ability to come up and contest that. But Jarvan and Twitch have been spotted on the bot side of the map here. So the Hawks know that they could take this fight if it breaks out in the jungle here, and they're looking for it. Thrush clearing that pink up behind the Baron and putting his own. Anyday in a weird spot here. Can he find his way into a wall? He flashes out. This could be a good fight for the Hawks here. Oh, could be, but it won't be, and that's going to be a clean ace. Yeah, and with death timers the way they are, this is very likely the end of the game here. So, again, the nightmare scenario of Anyday with all this money getting caught and then a team fight starting that the Hawks really didn't want, and then it turning into a just an unwinnable fight that they felt like they had to take. So that's going to be the end of game one here at 30 minutes, and it was very close until it wasn't. And I think that's kind of the story of that game is Hawks had scaling on their side, but they never quite got to that point where the scaling was going to make the difference. And I think it just had to do with positioning and being thrown into these bad fights. Because there is a world where you just let any day die there, and then you have 4 people to defend against a push, and you don't lose the game. But even we were completely convinced that they could turn that fight.
Right.
So good on them for trying. That's game one. We've got a really good idea now of how the blue side wants to play these games and how that they're looking to target individual players in draft. And so it's going to be up to the Hawks to come up with an answer here. I think if you're looking at things that performed really well, the Twitch at 12-3 with top damage in the game, you've got to say that could have been a problem. The Thresh hooks, I mean, he ended up going 4-2 and 17. He went wide on a couple hooks in lane, but every hook after that landed true. I think Thresh could be a problem. And then you could even argue that Jarvan was everywhere. Mordekaiser bounced back strong, and the Akshan was very difficult for Jackal to handle in the mid lane there. So we'll just have to see what they do in game 2 to try to bounce back. This was a really tough defeat, and I think it was a game that they could have won, and they're going to want back.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we're going to take a quick break here. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
All right, see you then.
So, all right, welcome back to the start of game two. We are doing our picks and bans with KSU taking the first game, beating the Redhawks in a back and forth tough battle. Um, I'm seeing some new strats here on the CVCC side. Are you seeing this, Jackie?
Yeah, this is really interesting actually because band-wise, it looks like they kind of started from the same place. The ASOL going, the Skarner going, but then they added the Twitch into there, so that was definitely something that they recognize as a problem from last game. Uh, on the other hand, here's a Jax being picked up, right? This is likely going to be in the jungle. If I had to guess. Now, some flexing could definitely happen here. That could be a top lane Jax. That could be a jungle Amumu. But from what we've seen in the past, I think that it's fair to say that that's probably going to be any day on the Jax. HMG returning to the Nyla, so he liked what was happening there. Jackal sticking with the Veigar. Not surprised if they're going to give it over. He's going to take it. But look at what's happening on the other side here. So the bans didn't change in the first round. And I've been calling them the blue side, and they're still blue side, but I'm going to try to call them KSU from here on out, to be more specific. They don't have the Twitch anymore, so they really want that scaling carry. They go with the Kog'Maw. And that's a first pick Kog'Maw. That's a really ballsy move to throw out this hyperscaling carry that needs a little bit of protection early in the game. And then they decide they're going to draft some early game power in the Xin Zhao and the Nefiri to help supplement that. And here we go into round two, and the Poppy and Gragas come out. So explosive team fight potential here. Lots of CC. You've got some really big beefy boys to stand in front of this Kog'Maw. And I think that they've done a good job of rounding out a draft. On the other side, let's see who gets picked here. I think this is going to be top lane, and I think this is Zodiac likely picking into a Gragas here. There's no real way to know that for sure. Poppy support, definitely a thing. And there's the Ornn that had been hovered by KSU just a moment ago. And I do think that's a really good champion for Zodiac up top here. So the Hawks have really rounded out a nice team comp. Very similar to the last one. You've got zone control from the Veigar. You have huge engage by Ornn and Amumu. Really good follow-up by Jax and Nyla. And so I'm really interested to see where everybody's going to go on the other side here, because Xin Zhao almost always a jungler. Nefiri almost always a mid laner. Now, sometimes they could play other spots. But in this case, you have all these champs that could play jungle. I really don't think that's where you'll find Nefiri. And then Poppy or Gragas support, potentially. And the other one's going to be up top. And they might be flexing them. So they may not even have known until they saw the Ornn what they wanted to do. But you also see in the second round of bans here, instead of picking the Mordekaiser, the Hawks took it away. And also grabbed that Thresh, knowing full well that that was a huge issue in the first game, too. So here we go. This is going to be looking a lot different. Still, you've got KSU on the blue side and the Hawks over on the red side. But very similar pieces in place. The Kog'Maw and Twitch, very different characters, but they do the same thing, scaling hypercarry. And over on the side of the Hawks, it's going to be really interesting. Jax scales to infinity. Nyla scales to infinity. Ornn helps them scale. And Veigar scales to infinity. So you have a hyper-scaling comp over here. And I think the thought process is we made it to 30 minutes. And we threw the game, right? We had it kind of where we wanted it. and then
Right.
those last two fights. So that like if we just make it to 30 minutes again and we don't make any mistakes, we win by default with these hyperscaling champs. So I think that's a good decision draft wise. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they play this out. And I do think you're going to see them try not to give away all the void grubs in this game and continue to contest for those early dragons.
I agree. I like what the Red Hawks did with their picks and bans this round. Um, I just look forward to the next match to see how it's going to turn out.
Yeah, it's do or die here. It's do or die. The Red Hawks got to pull this one out. And I think that they have a strategy that makes sense. And I think execution was the problem in the first game. I actually think they could have ran that back with those same squads and had a different result. Like I said, I just think they got caught out 2 times in a row and it ended the game. So I'm excited to see them turn it around here. Let's go. Let's knock this one out and go to a game 3.
Yep. Alright, and I think with that, we're just going to take a quick break due to the spectator delay, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
All right.
Rest. Tragic.
Ah, come on. What's the worst that could happen?
Lost.
Welcome
Wow,
to
and we
Summer's
almost didn't make
Rift.
it.
So I don't know what happened, but the client literally disconnected on me. I said, please don't do this, not again. After all the trouble
30
it's been having
seconds
throughout
until minions
this,
spawn.
this season, I was like, are you serious right now?
And
But
here we are in the game. I'm so excited because, yeah, I was like, oh no,
yeah,
we've missed them before and we don't want to miss this one. This
yeah,
is
yeah,
it right here.
yeah. So,
Everything is on the line, and it does look like we've got the Poppy support, and we've got the Gragas up top. So Gragas into Ornn, and then we've got the Kog'Maw Poppy into
Minions have spawned.
the Nyla Amumu. And this is a little bit different than the Nyla Nautilus, right? Amumu does a lot of the same things, right? A bandage toss is a lot like a hook, but he's got a huge teamfight ultimate, which allows him to be more impactful in some situations. And that bandage toss gets 2 charges, so really excited to see how that could make a difference here. Into the Poppy, it's real tricky, right? Poppy's got a good way of stopping that engage. So I don't think that that's a bad pick by KSU. I do think that that was smart in a lot of ways, and I think it's something that could pay off. But I am interested to see, because Poppy support is not the most common thing. And like I said, I actually was almost convinced that we were going to be seeing a Gragas support here, which is something that brings a lot of the same kind of things to the table. That being said, Jackal in another really not always super happy matchup. Very good catch onto the Cog, and he's got to flash away. So already, the Amumu pick paying off. That's definitely a Sushami special there. Another pick that you don't often see support. I mean, I'm trying to talk about Poppy being unusual, and the Amumu support is pretty unusual as well. It had its time in the sun when it was a little bit OP, and now it's just something that Sushami likes to play. So, but back to this mid lane matchup. This is 2 games in a row. I'm never going to be able to talk about it because it looks like they're throwing down up top. And Zodiac getting the best out of those trades. Good cage. Jackal looking for a punish here. Xin Zhao making his way down bot, and HMG's going to have to flash. Sushami has flash too, but he holds it. So unfortunate there. He's going to go down, and that's first blood. Meanwhile, Zodiac trying to finish off Gragas, and he just might do it. And I think we've got a kill here in the mid lane, so that's going to go over to Anyday's Jax. Gragas hanging on by a thread up here. Zodiac might actually just look to take him down, but Anyday has found a Xin Zhao in the river. Both of them with red buff. And they both decide not to continue that fight. And that's because Poppy heading up from the bot side and Jackal moving down from the mid lane here. And what do you know? Anyday in a lot of trouble because here comes Poppy. What? What a ridiculous outplay. Not gonna lie. Didn't see that happening. So, yeah, I can't even explain what happened, but just really good job by Anyday there of just continuing that fight, even when Xin Zhao thought he wouldn't do it. Now Zodiac having to be a little bit careful up top here because Gragas has got some really good sustain. And when you're even health at this point, you're going to have to get the jump on him. Okay, so back to what I was trying to say ages ago. Playing Veigar mid is not as popular as it could be, and in my opinion should be. And it's because of this. These really strong early game mids just make your life terrible. And that happened in the last game with the Akshan, and that's happening in this game with the Naafiri. I think Jackal doing a better job this time around of dealing with the pressure from Naafiri. And also, you know, getting that gank from Anyday early helped out quite a bit. As you can see, all Jackal wants to do here is stack his passive and catch these waves. And if he can just get this first back in, looks like he already had to teleport back once, so maybe the second back in. He's going to be in a good spot. Just build a little bit of health and AP. Probably going to go Rod of Ages. These days there's actually lots of builds that you can do on Veigar mid. And, strangely enough, there's a support item that gives you a nice little speed boost. That's a really cool second purchase. So Cloud Drake going down. The Hawks are going to take that. And KSU getting there just a little too late in the rotation. So well done by the Hawks to bring up bot lane. They got the shove. They came up, supported Anyday, who's pretty strong right now on this Jax, even at these early levels. And next on the menu here is going to be these Void Grubs. Oh, Zodiac misses there, but he's going to pop the ult anyway. He wants it. Unfortunately, when Gragas has belly hump like that, he really can't finish off the ult, but can he run him down? That's the question. And it looks like that's going to be the end of that. Meanwhile, Anyday shows up mid, and they're going to put some pretty good damage on the Fury, but good block. Really well played by the mid-jungle duo here. And Anyday really taking advantage of this Fury's aggression. It's got the pop on him. The Q just slightly too far away. And that could have been an easy kill there, but unfortunately, Anyday is going to go down. The Fury's going to take that kill. And it looks like Xin Zhao is going to come up, and he really wants to catch Jackal out here, but good job avoiding that gank. And Sushami finds another angle. This being on the Poppy, though, and he's going to get ignited. He's flashing out, and he's burning, but he's not going to drop, so good job of getting out of there. They get the Summoner spell. It's not a good trade, flash for ignite, but that being said, sometimes you'd rather the ignite go on the support and have him run back to base with no flash than you would have HMG give up one of his Summoner spells for an engaged try like that. Meanwhile, they shove it into him, and he gets to farm this pretty fully on the tower. This is a little tricky for HMG. He is going to have to give up that cannon, which is really unfortunate, but he's going to get all this XP, and it looks like he's going to get these. Well, he's getting really low, so the dive could be coming, and it looks like Anyday is going to make his way down to this side of the map. Good job to get Poppy's flash there. Sushami playing on the edge here, and HMG, and there's the flash in. Kog'Maw's going to get the kill. And Sushami's gotta be careful because there's the wall slam. And that's a double, but I do think that Anyday can go pick up this Poppy. No, he's not even gonna give it a shot. Just out of range, it looks like. So unfortunate. Usually when your bot lane is in a position like that, you're gonna want to come down and give them all the support that you can, because Poppy can tank a few shots, and Kog'Maw's damage is really ridiculous early. Who are we kidding? It's ridiculous throughout the entire game. If his E is up, then you have to be very careful for that kind of stuff. That being said, HMG down there farming. Going to be able to shove this in on the Kog'Maw, who has no way of getting back in time to catch this, so that is a trade of resources there, and it's definitely a positive. So Jackal forced to flash there, but Anyday coming down. And the Fury popping that ult. I don't think it's going to work out, and the Fury now going to flash. So, once again, Anyday so close to taking him down, but it's just really tricky. As long as there's a flash left to keep that last attack from killing him, it's just really tricky for Jackal to walk back in there, and the Xin Zhao counter gank was right on time. HMG needs to be really careful here. They don't know Poppy's in the bush, but they're about to find out. Good dash there. Poppy not preemptively popping the E, which would have just sealed their fate, but it does look like Xin Zhao's here in time. And this is going to go really rough as the Ignite comes down. Now it's going to go to the Poppy, which is much better than going to Kog'Maw. But very unfortunate series of events. And now Zodiac popping his ult. Gragas not stopping it, so he's in some real trouble here. Who are they going to give the kill over to? Very likely going to go to Anyday. Well, good barrel by Gragas to get out of that. And that's just as tragic as it comes right there. Jackal coming down though. Poppy is caught out. Looks like they're gonna take the Poppy kill here. They're gonna hand it over to Jackal, and now the Kog'Maw gonna go down next. This one they're going to hand to HMG, so really well done on that play. Definitely trying to get back into the game. A little bit sacrificed mid here as Nefiri just gets to go crazy on the tower, but at the same time, Any Day taking the topside jungle of Zin's out here. And Zodiac just keeping up the pressure here in the top. So we've got some lag, I see in the chat. And these spikes can come and go, so hopefully that won't last. Let's take a quick peek at items and see where we're at. So it was a good roam by Jackal bot there to help get those kills, but he did fall behind a couple waves. And then Nefiri's got a pretty big lead in the mid lane with those tower plates down, the extra CS, and even that extra kill. And a lot of that came from, of course, the failed gank attempt mid. That being said, Any Day and Xin Zhao very close together here. The Xin does have that completed Sundered Sky, which does put him in a really strong position. And if you look at the mid lane items, a completed Eclipse versus Jackal's components is... Jackal does not want to fight him right now, not till he gets to complete this first item. Up top, it looks like Gragas going for the Rod of Ages build. And Zodiac... I should know what item that builds into, but I'm not sure. It is going to be a very hardcore tank item, and I do think that that matchup is just going to become easier and easier for Ornn, because I don't think Gragas is going to continue to have the kind of burst damage it takes to take him out. Zodiac even with a slight level advantage here. And it looks like the game's unpaused, doing its normal little stutter step before it gets going again. So let's just real quickly look at the bot lane's items here, because the one thing that we didn't go over, Cog does have a pretty big lead down there. He has a completed item, and it does look like we've got an AP Cogmaw, which is not at all what I expected. But then again, we've got quite a bit of AD on the team, so maybe that does make sense. I'm not sure. You hardly see that. Oh, and it does look like Sushami's going to get caught out here by the Xin Zhao, who must have seen him back. That being said, Gragas does not have ult this time, and this kill is going to go over to Any Day. And on the Jax, you definitely want the kills here. So in the last game, playing Kayn, getting fed is nice, but as you could see in the last game, even though he had those 6 kills pretty early, there really wasn't much he could do, and a great wall by Jackal there to just be able to walk away and just eat that ult from the Fury. Meanwhile, tower plate going down up top, so Zodiac in a really good spot. And I completely lost my train of thought, but we'll just go back to what's going on in the game here. So Any Day, he's on the objective. It does look like he's already gotten 1, but there's 2 still up, and he is going to get shoved off here. He's got the jump, so he's going to be okay. Nefiri's ult not back up, but that is probably going to be 5 grubs over if there's nothing that Jackal can say about it, and he's going to walk back, so here comes the potential dive. Pretty well done to put so much damage on the Fury here. Didn't get to see what happened bot, but it does look like Sushami's going down again, and this tower is going to drop as well.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
So we've got a 4.5k gold lead here at 12.5 minutes, which is very sizable. And now even Poppy coming up to try to make this dive happen.
Killing spree.
And Jackal's going to take one back with him, so good job there. And Zodiac looks like he's going to get this. Gragas likely, well, he's going to get slowed here. There's just fighting going on everywhere. It's impossible. Any Day gets the ult out of Xin Zhao, who's going to hightail it out of his jungle. And yeah, things looking rough for the Hawks at this point. Like we said before the game started, I mean, we have a full scaling comp here. So nothing to get excited about. when you scale this hard, you can fall behind early. It's fine. You just have to watch out for those late game team fights. If things go wrong at 30 minutes in the game, it can end on the drop of a dime. But if you're playing a scaling comp and you play smart and you play safe, things just tend to go your way once everything starts working that direction. So Ornn, level 10 now, but when he hits 13, he gets to start upgrading items, and that's a huge amount of free gold that goes into the pockets of the Hawks there. So before anybody gets too excited about a gold deficit that right now is sitting at 4K, I still think, oh, Zodiac with a really good dash there. Can he find his way out? Xin Zhao walking up pretty quickly. And we got flash for flash, and I'm not sure why Xin Zhao bothered flashing, but good job by Zodiac. Traded the flash, survived. And now HMG in a bad spot. He's going to get caught out. Sushami as well. There's nowhere to go. And with that tower down, I think we just have to respect. There is a flash, and he has it, and he's going to use it again last second. This time he didn't get anything in return, so good job by the Hawks there. No flash on the Fury. And any day coming up to see if there's a fight. I'm not sure if he can turn this or not. He's got some money. Gragas is here. Oh, he flashed to try to outplay there, but unfortunately, Gragas shows up first, and they're going to secure the Rift Herald. So now Kog'Maw making his way up to the mid lane. It looks like this tower is not long for his world. Now if Jackal catches Kog'Maw with that cage, he one-shots him, so. Now Poppy up top, putting pressure on Zodiac. And unfortunately, nothing he can do about it, because if he tries to jump out like that, he just gets the W from Poppy. So he's trying to get back. He's even going to bust out the ult here, but nothing's going to work. And this Poppy pick is paying huge dividends for KSU. So we've got a lane assignment change here, and bot lane is now going mid. And the Fury all over Jackal here. He's got his cage. He's going to try to play around it. Any Day showing up as well, and now no flash on the Neferi. Can Any Day run him down? Looks like he probably can. Xin Zhao's about to show up. Can he get the... Unfortunately, Neferi just has the damage to turn it around on him. Great flash by Jackal there. A good cage, but Poppy just has all the slows. And Poppy literally just everywhere at this point. Just gank top, just gank bot. Just running around making plays. And the unfortunate part is if you look at the jungle for the Hawks right now, they have no vision on either side. And with no mid lane tier 1, KSU just gets to walk freely from one lane to the next without the Hawks being able to track them whatsoever. So Sushami looking for the big play here. HMG going to come in, and I think that they've got him. So that's big shutdown gold for HMG. And they need a couple more of those to get back into this game. Because I don't think the 7.5k gold lead right now is something that's surmountable even with scaling until you're hitting full items. So 3v1 situation for Any Day here. He does a really fancy jump, and here's Zodiac. But unfortunately, they're both going to find themselves in a little bit of trouble here. And he's feeling the need to pop the ult. It was a very early hump by Gragas there. So they're going to surround him, and now, as he continues to walk, Sushami shows up, but this is a 2v3. Jackal's going to get there, but is he too late? Big cage. Is there big damage to follow? And it just doesn't look like it. And now even Jackal, Sushami the one in trouble.
Killing spree.
HMG fight for his life against the Fury here in the bot lane, and camera's not falling, but I think I know how that one ends, unfortunately. Gragas forced to flash there. It was a good cage by Jackal, and Anyday shows up trying to save his tower, but it's not going to survive. And this game could be over in the next few minutes. This is something where stabilization is all the Hawks can hope for at this point. I mean, we've got a 9-ish K gold lead in 9 minutes, and once KSG backs and spends his gold, there's just no good fights that the Hawks can honestly take. Bad news is Zodiac still hasn't hit level 13, so no upgrades coming through just yet. The Hawks have taken the bot tier 1 tower, and that's it. So a lot of standing gold. If a fight could go their way, if they could get a pick, Tsushami having a face check here, and he's just going to drop. Zodiac thinking maybe they can turn this fight. Because HMG comes in from the bot side, but just outnumbered and outgunned here. Anyday does take out the Kog'Maw. Oh, but the Poppy W is going to keep him from getting over the wall. And killing the Kog'Maw really nice, but is it going to be enough? Zodiac now fighting for his life in his own base. It's a really good flash, but Gragas still coming after him. Great catch by Tsushami. And the Gragas is going to go down here. So Jackal with a really nice shutdown. The Zinzao over the wall, but the knockup, the cage is good. Did the Hawks have the damage? Here comes the ult. HMG's back in the fight. They got to be careful not to overchase here. Well, I tell you what, they might be down 8k, but they're not going to let you bully them in their own base. So really good turns. Yeah, I'm just real excited about the fight that they still have them in at this point, because like I said, if they can find a way to stabilize, this game is not over. Yeah, definitely whenever you have a play go your way, especially with the other side going way more ham than they needed to. One thing that you'll see with teams is sometimes they'll get ahead and they'll just start seeing what they can do, right, to end the game. Because if everything went their way in that fight, they'd probably end the game there at 21 minutes. Good job of Anyday to take that Neferi and put him in an awkward spot. I mean, the Poppy's a menace, but 1v1 is not going to do any real damage to Jackal there, so Neferi no ult. Zodiac getting a back, and I believe he had already TP'd. I don't see his TP coming in now, and it's on cooldown. Oh no, he TP's to the bottom side of the map. They've got Gragas caught inside the cage here. It doesn't look like anybody can actually put damage on him. Are we going to see a team fight down here? I think the Hawks are better off just giving up this dragon in this positioning here. But it looks like they're going to stand on this hill and try to defend this tower. So Gragas taking a lot of damage here, and he's going to go down. So Shami's going to be betrayed. Poppy finds Zodiac against the wall, and Anyday going to burn down. Jackal going to burn down as well. HMG gets one back. Zodiac's still on his feet. Tower still firing at Zinzao, but he's going to survive. And that's going to be the ace. And it looks like the dragon's going to be the prize here. Just under 10k is the gold deficit here for the Hawks. So let's take a quick look at the items and see what they bought here, because they did just get a chance to bet. So Jackal has completed his Rod of Ages that has almost hit 10 stacks. He has the Seraphs completed. So those are his 2 big ticket items. You've got 2 items on HM. Critical 2 items on Anyday right now with the Triforce in the Sundered Sky. And Ornn up top. Looks like the game... Okay, there we go. A little bit of lag there, but Ornn up top about to hit level 13, about to upgrade his own Jack Show, and then, or potentially one of the other items. Triforce is a really good upgrade too. And on the other side, you've got 2 items on the Nefiri. You've got the 2 completed items for Xin Zhao, and Gragas with the Rod of Ages, only 7 stacks, but he also is going very tanky. So at this point, looking at this Kog'Maw, who has the Muramana as well, it's a little bit more of a hybrid build. I think if you're the Hawks, you're happy to see that, because even though it dumps out an insane amount of damage, it also is not the rapid fire percentage health damage that he would be building otherwise. To shred tanks and players with lots of health. So the Fury's coming in on the backside. He catches Jackal with the ult, but he's under the tower taking shots, and it looks like he's going to go down. HMG with a really good ult here, but he gets exhausted in the middle. Can the Hawks fight their way out of this? And it looks like it's not going to work out. And there's another ace. So kind of like we saw in the last game, where these fights break out and the Hawks don't actually have the ability to win them. They don't have the damage, they're down too much gold. They're taking these fights, they're losing them, and then their base gets broken in the process. And there's no way for KSU to end here, because Jackal's up, Sushami's up, you've got a few seconds on any day, but that is going to be inhib. And it's a two-edged sword here, because if you take the fights and they go well, if you find the right fight, you can get back into the game. And they really feel like they need to get back into the game. Ornn's hit level 13 now. We've hit 2 items on most of the carries, so they're almost to that point where scaling is going to start being a factor. But that being said, if you take the fight and you lose, then you lose an inhib, the game gets harder, you have to stretch it out longer. So here we are at 25.5 minutes. And the gold lead is now well over 10k. Which in some cases could be completed items for certain champs over their counterparts. But at the moment, no real objectives. Just a fight over vision. Poppy poking around. The Fury's damage is very high. And any day gets chunked on the play, but it looks like the Hawks have decided they're going to fight for this tower. And so much damage gets dumped on the any day. He goes down. Sushami next, and that's a double kill from the Kog'Maw, who's just sniping with that ult from the backline. And that is the power of the AP Cog. Zodiac caught up against the wall here. He's going to flash out, but can he live? I don't think so. Because he gets flanked by the Nefiri, and now it's just Jackal against the world. And I'm not sure he can stop him. This is a double buffed up 5-man squad. And they're just burning into the base here. So with over 10 seconds left on... Well, any day's up, and he's jumping into the fight. Sushami's up as well. And it does look like the Hawks are going to have to fight. HMG's here as well. The Poppy stops the engage. Good cage. Zodiac jumps in. HMG and Jackal fighting here on the bottom side. Sushami getting overrun, but I just don't see what the Hawks can do at this point. Any day running for his life. The Xin Zhao just beating on the Nexus. And this is it. This is game 2. So a lot like game 1, just hit that certain point in the game where just couldn't fight, just have to give up things. And they stood their ground, and boy, they made it entertaining, but 10K gold, 11K gold. It's too much to overcome. Those wallets are just too heavy, and the scaling wasn't quite there yet. As you can see, Ornn just hit level 13. And across the board here, not only did you have a gold discrepancy, but you've got a level discrepancy. And total gold says a lot, but if you were to look at the individual champions, you'd see that just a huge discrepancy in how much gold. The Kog'Maw, at almost 13,000 gold per minute compared to the Nyla on the other side at 9.5. So, and same thing goes for mid lane and jungle. You've got a huge gold discrepancy there. So, just really unfortunate that the Hawks weren't able to pull this off. I think they had a good strategy going into draft. They definitely came into the day and decided that they were going to fight for every inch of territory, no matter what it came to, and they believed in themselves. And here we are. I think they put up an excellent fight, and they should be proud of themselves.
I agree. I mean, they had an excellent season this year. They have nothing to be ashamed of. It's just unfortunately they ran into a very tough team tonight.
Yeah, I'd have to say that this is the best team they've seen all season,
Yep.
and this season, by the way, completely historic for the organization, and something that uh, is now going to set the bar for the next season and
Yes.
for the seasons to come.
Yep. I definitely agree. I look forward to next season. We're going to have the same lineup, and I'm looking to see the Redhawks make more history.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us and watching these games. It was a really good time. Definitely banger. I mean, the boys didn't disappoint. They came out to fight, and they did exactly that. And unfortunately, we came up short. But in the big scope of things, I think the Hawks are just big winners this year. I mean,
Yep.
we're round 2 in nationals. It's insane.
Yep. I couldn't have said it even better, Jackie. It's a tough loss, but I believe our team will bounce back next semester, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so much to learn from these games. So much to learn from these really strong opponents.
Um,
And yeah, I mean, absolutely. Now the standard is you don't just want to make playoffs. You want to get to grand finals, and you don't just want to make nationals. You want to, beat at least one team and go in there and show them that you've got the goods. So super excited about next semester. Really happy about how everything went down this semester. Really proud of the boys, and yeah, just want to thank you for having me on the broadcast this whole time.
of course,
And
I couldn't have done it without you, like literally. I appreciate you commentating throughout the semester for with us, um, and hopefully we'll have you back in the fall.
yeah, it's so much fun. How could I say no?
All right, I
But
will.
thanks for everybody watching.
Yep, and I think with that we're going to end our broadcast. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in each week. Um, we appreciate you, and we'll see you next semester.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.